Welcome, Ultimate fans, to the Western Ultimate League. We're here to watch the Utah Wild take on the Colorado Alpenglow. It's going to be Colorado's first game ever, and the Utah Wild is trying to make a comeback from last year.
I'm really interested to see how the Alpenglow adjusts to the WUL rule set, and also traveling for a single game. It is different than Club Ultimate, and you do need a little bit of experience.
Yeah, we're here in Salt Lake City. My name is Leah Smith, and I'm here with Alex Walker. We're about to start in the next few minutes, and we're excited to see how this game shakes out. We have a lot of unknowns with this Colorado team. We have a lot of players who have previously played Club Mixed, as well as some players who have previously played in the WL and PUL. We have a lot of knowledge and depth on this Colorado team, but so far they have been untested.
I think notably, Kristen Reed, 0-0, was the leading goal scorer at Club Nationals last year for Molly Brown and brings that championship experience. But that championship experience is matched by Kendra Miller, who played on Molly Brown as well and will be playing, suiting up for the Wild, who bring a lot more depth into 2023 compared to last year and have added some talent from around the league, including Kat Songer from the Seattle Tempest, and also see Carly Atwell back from an ACL injury, who played for the Austin Torch.
We actually asked the coaches to submit some players to watch beforehand, and Carly was one of the players submitted by Wild head coach Tanya Reitz. Carly has previously played for the Austin Torch in the PUL, as well as has been a stalwart leader for the University of Utah Spiral Jetty. On the Alpenglow side, they submitted Caroline McKee, who actually has some Utah ties. Caroline has played previously for Utah Yard Sale and then moved over to Colorado in the last year. So it'll be interesting to see her team up against her previous Yard Sale teammate, Lily Terpstra, number 4 on the Wild.
Yeah, and I'm personally excited to see Sarah Ito play. Back when I lived in Washington, D.C., Sarah Ito was busy winning back-to-back championships with Scandal. Excited to see her out playing in the WUL. And last but not least, it is Mackenzie Perquette's birthday today. So happy birthday to Utah Wild's number 1, Mackenzie Mac Perquette.
Keep an eye on her. Maybe she has some birthday magic going for her. Yeah, we're watching the teams line up. We have a big crowd here tonight in Salt Lake City. If you notice, the people holding the flags for the Utah Wild previously won a hat tournament that was played earlier today. So nice to see some youth and community support out there. We have our officials for the game. We have Joe Strong, Charlie Johnson, Zach Nebeker, and Lee Jensen. They have all experience on the club and professional levels. We're excited to see them back. And yeah, we're just getting ready to do the coin flip. They're announcing the current roster for the Wild. So the Wild has a roster of about 24 people, and for this game they are going up to 20 players, which is what is mandated by the league. They can go up to 21. Here's our roster for the season. If you notice, Kira Haruzhnikova is out there, but she is not suited up. This is a big loss for the Utah Wild. Haruzhnikova has a lot of experience at the national level, playing with Shame this past year, and is just an icon in the Utah community and brings a lot of hype and big plays. Haruzhnikova broke her pinky, so nothing too major, and we're hoping to see her back out on the field soon. It'll be interesting to see how the Wild adjusts without Haruzhnikova's basic appearance on the field.
And I think another notable wrinkle this year is Cass Williams is moving from defense over to the offensive line tonight. So it'll be interesting to see how this new look Wild offensive line acts.
Yeah, and then on the Colorado side, like I said, relatively unknown. We did try and ask for a little bit of information, and they were tight-lipped. So I'm interested to see what kind of sets they run on offense and defense. I definitely know we'll be talking about Jade McLaughlin a lot. They're an incredible cutter, and I mean, they can flex anywhere on the field and make an impact.
Jade's also part of a larger storyline, which is players that played for the Arizona Sidewinders last year have moved over to the Colorado Alpenglow, and Jade is one of those players, along with Aubrey Dietrich, Liz Murphy, and Betsy Bash, and Alex Daniels. So it'll be, I think the Alpenglow will lean pretty heavily on their experience and also their talent. Jade is a do-it-all type of player, and Aubrey is a incredible goal scorer, very fast receiver.
Yeah, and I think it shows a lot to the Sidewinders culture when they had all these players coming in to play for them, and they said, you know what, I'm having such a good time, I want to bring this home. And I know the Colorado community has been really excited to have a professional women's team. So they're doing the coin toss right now. We have the Wild elects team captains, or captains for each game. And so they have Paige Kircher, Brooke Stanislawski, and Kendra Miller out there. And then for the Sidewinders, it's Bristol Lavoie and Jess Nelson, right? Yes, Jess Larson. She's wearing a 24 for this game. We're looking to see who is going to start on offense and defense, and this game's going to get started pretty soon. I think to talk about Wild captain Brooke Stanislawski, she was originally on the Utah Wild 2020 roster and took last season off to have a baby. So now she's on the field again, and this time with her 1-year-old daughter watching. Brooke is one of 3 moms on the Wild, actually, with Brittany McCready and Kaylee Caldwell. Kaylee actually has 3 children, and this is her first time playing pro. So we'll be interested to see how all of these moms are on the field.
Kaylee was an exciting defender for BYU in college, and so it'll be very cool to see how she translates and brings her game to a larger stage.
Yeah, I think the whole narrative of this game is really how is the Wild going to adjust and grow after their last season, and how is Colorado going to rise to the challenges of being a fresh team who hasn't really experienced this rule set. With the WUL rule set, we have a 7-second stall, which makes the game move a lot quicker. And we just really want to make sure that these players are moving a little bit faster than they would tend to in club or any other rule set.
That'll be a big thing to watch, I think, for this first quarter for the Alpenglow, since you can practice it all you want, but you just have to experience it in a game setting to really understand the speed of it.
Yeah, under the big lights with the big crowd. So, yeah, it looks like teams are getting ready to huddle up, make those final adjustments, as well as another thing with the WL rule set, there's only about a minute between each poll, which means you can't make a lot of coaching adjustments on the line. You have to talk when they're off field. So just making sure that those coaches are being active and talking to their players so their expectations are known. It looks like the Wild will be on offense. We see Brooke Stanislawski, Jen Cogburn, Corey Bigham, Kat Songer, Sarah Stoller, and Cass Williams take the field. Looks like they need one more person. Yeah, there's Paige Kircher. Paige was first in the league last year in yards thrown. She is really a center handler and all-star for the Wild O-line. We'll see how she works with Kat Songer back in the handle set.
Yeah, a resident of Boise, Idaho, and a world champion and national champion with Seattle Mixtape in 2022.
I heard she's trying to go for the three-peat, really try and get that WL championship this year too. And it looks like on defense we have number 22, Caroline McKee. Oh gosh, I'm having a hard time reading their numbers, but we have the D-line over there on with the coach Stephanie Schlosser giving some last-minute advice.
We're looking at Elise Doboralski, Caroline McKee, Betsy Bash, Maddie Boyd.
There's Betsy with the pull, Bosch with the pull. And Songer centers to Kircher. We have Stanislawski on that upline a little too far, but Williams couldn't get it in time. A quick turn.
Unforced error, probably due to just a little bit of jitters right now.
Maddie Boyd with the disc over to Thorpe. Kircher with the D on McKee. It looks like it was she didn't run through. Kircher to Cogburn. Up to Stoller. Just a bobble. All right, we have Doborowski picking up. Looks like they are setting up in a horizontal-ish stack. McKee back with the disc. Over to Thorpe. Up to Boyd. Oh, and a drop.
A lot of nerves on this first point. I think these players wouldn't. These are not mistakes that you would expect these players to make.
Yeah, first game of the season. And we have Songer over to Cogburn. Up to Kircher. All right, Williams with a big put. With the toe in. That's Kat Songer. Her first point with the Utah Wild, already making an impact.
It's a really strong toe in. Really strong toe in.
But it might have been a call.
Appears there might have been a stoppage.
Looks like the observers are going over to Cogburn.
The Wild got a lot out of attacking from the front of the stack in that end zone and down the field. It looked like they were generating a lot of open yardage, even if some of those throws weren't being completed.
All right, it looks like the disc goes back to Williams. And there's that 4-second pre-stall where players are able to move before the thrower can adjust and fake. We have Stanislavski up in the open, but it looks like the mark got in the way there. Songer back with the disc. Oh, a lot of patience, but there's just some nerves right there. Looks like Bosch picking up with the disc. Ooh. Wild trying to throw some defenders in the lane to create some tighter throws. Kircher getting close there on McKee. Stoller has the Alpenglow on the sideline. Ooh, a close bid by Abby Thorpe. Cogburn is signaling for the Wild to chill out a little bit.
That's probably smart right now. The Wild, the offense looks open. They're just a couple of mistakes that are causing these turnovers.
Songer with the inside to Cogburn, who's doing some direction on the field for what she wants.
Doing a great job of using the width of the field.
Yeah, the Wild is running a pretty traditional vert stack right now, but still being able to create some new looks. Bigham with her first touch of the game, up to Songer. With a big boost to Cogburn. Oh, to Stanislavski, who's patient in the end zone. Oh, looks like we have some nerves there with Bigham, but another turn. Looks like Alpenglow is setting up in a side stack with Maddie Boyd as the center. Oh, but Cogburn with the run through D on Thorpe. And it looks like Stanislavski with the first point. There were definitely some unforced errors there by both teams, but I'm sure they both can, at least the Wild can breathe a sigh of relief right now knowing that they have that hold.
I think the Wild would prefer that their offensive holds not be 4 minutes long, but they generate a lot of open space on their cutting, and I didn't think Alpenglow looked really that confident running their D-line offense. So be interesting to see how they adjust once they get those turnovers. And though I think the Wild are going to cut those, really going to look to cut those down.
Yeah, and so now we get our first look at the Alpenglow O-line. Looks like we have McLaughlin, we have Kleinkopf, we have Reed, we have Larson, and Reich.
Along with Dietrich.
Yeah, Dietrich, and, I'm trying to see the last one, Pesch. we have Larson in the center looking for number 14, but goes to Pesh instead. Looks like as a side stack, that was a great grab by Pesh, I believe. Or the Alpenglow numbers are a little small for me to read, so I hope you all have some patience.
The Wild are forcing middle right now, seeing what they get out of it.
We have Robbins with a great poach to make sure Reed doesn't get it in the end zone. Over to Maddie Hunter. Miller on the sideline. Looks like they're looking for Terpstra, but the stall got a little high. All right, Pesh picks up with Larson backhandling. Up to Kleinkopf. Back to Pesh. Over to Reich. Ooh, Reed couldn't quite get it, a little too fast.
The force middle is making some tough throws. I like that defensive wrinkle for the Wild. And it's also exciting to see Kendra Miller on defense, playing defense.
We also have Maddie Hunter back with the disc right now. Maddie has practiced a lot with BYU Kai. She's an alumni who's really, she was a practice player for the Wild last year and who's really able to improve, so it's nice to see her out there. She also owns her own cheesecake business, so if you ever need a cheesecake, let her know. Terpstra with a high grab. Lily Terpstra is a Utah local. She actually is our youngest player. Over to Robbins. Robbins still looking for someone to throw to. Back to Hunter. Over to Miller. With a big boost to Robbins, but it looks a little short.
The cut was there, but the throw was a little speculative, I think. However, I really think this defensive line offense of the Wild is attacking the spaces really nicely.
I think we also have to consider that it's a little breezy out there. We are on a hill, which does make it more prone to wind, as well as in the evening times. The Utah Valley gets pretty windy, so we might see that pop up more as we go through. A big huck to Dietrich with Robbins and Wallen there. Dietrich is able to come down to it, back to Reed. Looks a little hectic out there, but it looks like Reich has been able to calm things down. Larson in the middle. Pesh. Over to Kleinkopf. Oh, a miss by McLaughlin.
McLaughlin bent her cut to score the goal there, and that let Kaylee Caldwell just close just enough to get a D.
It's like Caldwell with no mark. Over to Shelke. Carrie Shelke is a Missoula-based player who's done a lot for Montana Mean Dog. I know there was a lot of excitement when she was on the roster this year. Wallen with a tight throw to Miller. Back to Wallen for the break.
That was an excellent defensive possession. We can see here on the replay that they hit the inside to Miller, and Wallen just uses her speed to generate a wide open look, putting the defender Dietrich in a really, really bad spot on the end zone. So loving that run and gun D-line offense. And, you know, the Wild's D-line looks really composed right now, and I'm sure that Colorado would have preferred to score on one of their previous possessions.
Yeah, both teams had a lot of chances there, and I think Wild was just able to be a little bit cooler and calmer. I think their stack was a bit more disciplined than at least the Alpenglow D-line. So we'll see. It looks like Wallen, Miller, Robbins, Hunter are all staying, and we have our first look at Atwell, Norris, and McCready for the Wild D-line. We'll see what adjustments the O-line makes. Oh, short roller pull. Just past half field. It'll be interesting to see why the Wild chose to do such a short pull and put it at risk. Kleinkopf over to Daniels. Oh, with a good grab by Philly, who's on the end zone line. Has to back up a little bit to make sure she's actually out before she can throw it. Oh, a big up to Atwell, and a great grab by number 16, Abby Thorpe. That is the first official goal of the Colorado Alpenglow, and what a way to do it.
That was a really contested shot. I think this shows the high stall count, causing the Alpenglow thrower to put it up to that corner, and if you're the Wild, you can't really hope for anything else. It was an extremely contested goal.
Yeah, I think they were able to keep those shots really tight. And yeah, that's the first goal. So Abby Thorpe, I'm sure we'll hear more of that name. All right, the Alpenglow D-line will be back on the field. It looks like there might be a disc issue. So we'll see what they do about that. I don't think we have a current replacement disc. Okay. The observer says it's still okay, but Betsy Bosch.
Yeah, that's what we pay him the big bucks for.
Yeah, just inspecting.
Okay, swapping over Mac Burkett onto the offensive line here for the Wild.
And the disc just rolls out of bounds, which is not great for the offense, but I'm sure the Alpenglow are very excited about that. It looks like they've pulled number 19 on Alpenglow back to cover more of those deep shots. Cass Williams going deep. A beautiful one-shot look in the spike.
Excellently weighted throw from Kircher down the line, generating just a power position huck, and Cass is a very tall former volleyball player who knows how to get and high point the disc. So once she got open deep, it was over.
I think Williams is really ready to step up this year and is just going to be an exciting player to consistently watch because she's someone who practices with such a growth mindset.
A 10-second hold, that's what you're looking for if you're the offense.
Yeah, we're here in the first quarter with about 3.5 minutes left. And it looks like, we have Sarah Ito, Jess Larson, Kristen Reed, Sarah Pesch, and Aubrey Dietrich, and Marilyn Reich on the O-line for Alpenglow. So let's see if they change up their set at all, if they're going to continue with the vert stack that they were traditionally running before. All right, looks like they have 2 handlers back with 5 cutters, with a big put, but just not well placed.
Looking like they came out of a split stack there, but that huck was, I feel like that huck was just a bit of a huck and hope type of look.
Well, with receivers like Aubrey Dietrich, I do get that. We have Caldwell to Terpstra, up to Wallen. Terpstra with a floaty disc. Robbins in the backfield, but she decides to go to Norris. Oh, a big around that just faded.
It looks like the wind is coming from...
Dietrich's going deep for Larson. Oh, it looks like McLaughlin's already there. Over to Ito.
The wind, I think, is coming out from the west, from the most of the valley, and it pushed that round swing down, and then for this huck to McLaughlin that she scored with, it just floated there for a second. So it's a 3-2 lead for Utah, and it's been a bit of a slow first quarter. Both teams getting their legs under them, but those last 2 points, I thought, showed a little more composure for both offensive lines, both Utah and Colorado.
Yeah, and I think it's been interesting. We've been seeing a lot of different offensive looks from Colorado with a split stack, a side stack, and a vert stack. And they're back on defense.
I would like to see Colorado's offense have a clean hold.
Yes, that's, I think, the next challenge. All right, the disc on the far side of the field. Kircher picks up to Aragon. He's in a power position, up to Stoller, but it slides through her hands. We have Thorpe picking up, over to Kleinkopf, to Boyd. Looking for the dump to Kleinkopf again. Cogburn tight on Thorpe. Looks like they haven't gotten many downfield looks. They've just been passing it between Kleinkopf and Thorpe.
Really struggling to get positive yardage, positive downfield motion right now.
Yeah, that's the closest they've gotten, and that was highly contested by Stoller. Up to Thorpe, who's looking at Kleinkopf again. Oh, a stall called. That 7-second stall will get you.
Yeah, and I think that might have been a unfamiliarity with the rule set right there.
Yeah, normally in club I start panicking when I hear 6, and in the WL you have to start panicking when you hear 4. Kircher to Bigham, over to Stanislawski from the front of the stack. Oh, a good poach D there by Boyd. Kleinkopf picking up again. Thorpe unmarked. Bosch with the big put, with a great grab by Boyd. Thorpe going upline, and that's a break for the Alpenglow.
Almost looked like Cogburn didn't think that disc was going to get there.
Yeah, it felt like the Wild O-line wasn't challenging as hard as they had in previous points.
Yeah.
But we're back on serve with 26 seconds left on the clock. The O-line takes the field again for the Wild, and we'll see who stays on for the Alpenglow D-line.
Would have really liked to see a clean hold there from the Wild, and I think their offense is moving really well. It just seems to not. There seems to be just a couple of breakdowns here and there. So hopefully they can iron those out in the later quarters. One thing I'd really note about the Wild offense is they're getting a lot of really good upline looks. So let's see if they can continue generating open uplines.
Songer unmarked with a put to Williams.
He's
knocking on the door of the red zone.
Complete defensive breakdown here by the Alpenglow. Just way too easy.
Yeah, Songer to Burkett. So you got that clean hold you were asking for. 2 seconds left on the clock, so.
And just great throw to Songer, wide open, Mac, Burkett, easy goal to the upfield, easy goal to the corner there. You would have liked to see the Wild score in 3 more seconds.
Yeah, let's see if they try and generate a really quick turn for the D so they can contain, or if they want to do a big floaty pull so they can just try and put pressure and force a lot of small passes.
Yeah, I think regardless, you just want to stop. You really want to stop Colorado from scoring here and take that one goal Utah lead, that 4-3 Utah lead into the second quarter.
Yeah. Atwell with the pull. And that's the time. Over to Larson with a big put, a little floaty. Over to Reed, to Pesh. Dietrich streaking deep, but Pesh looks it off. Ooh, and a missed throw there. So that is the end of the quarter. How are we feeling so far about this game, Alex?
I really think the story has been unforced errors by both teams, and Colorado's made a few more of them than Utah, and I just think that's nerves. This is your first game ever as a franchise, as a team. I think that's to be understood, but you know, in the WUL you don't really get time to feel it out. It's not a club season. It's not a club tournament where you get a game to get your legs under you.
I was also thinking both teams have to deal with quite snowy weather, and I think this is the first time in a while where they've had to play competitively outdoors. The disc floats differently out here, and especially with it's windy and your hands being a little cold, there are higher chances for the disc to slip through. I think that's also where we're seeing those miscues in the wind. I know these players can play in any type of circumstance, but it does take some adjustment. And now we have a word from our sponsors. We'd like to shout out 3 of the Utah Wild sponsors: Burt Lund at Physical Midvale, Handy and Handy Attorneys at Law, and We Win Injury Law. Their support of women and non-binary athletes helps make this season possible. For more information on these organizations, visit www.utahwildultimate.org/sponsors. Thank you all for sponsoring the Utah Wild. Oh, and it looks like we are adjusting our scoreboard to reflect that last Wild hold.
Yeah. Put your pitchforks back down, Internet. Wild on D right here. I think this is a really good opportunity to come out and get a break. I think the Wild offensive line shows the additions. I mean, Songer is a key part of the offense. And the Colorado Alpenglow D-line has not really generated a ton of pressure so far.
I think Songer is a really good balance to Paige Kircher. And I know that they've played together on Seattle Mixtape, but I think Songer brings a little bit more chill and Kircher brings a little bit of that fire.
Yeah, this Utah roster is from 3-4 different states even, but I think it shows that all these players have played together to this degree. We've got Songer and Kircher playing together on Mixtape. We've got players who played together on multiple mixed and women's teams, and that familiarity is showing right now.
Yeah, and I would like to see more from the former Sidewinders playing together. I know a lot of them are on the Alpenglow O-line, and it seems so far we haven't gotten that snaky connection. I'm interested to see what adjustments the Alpenglow make, whether it's on their O-line or their D-line, just because, yeah, this is the first time that they've played in this type of setting.
Yeah, what will head coaches Schlosser and Durst do faced with just a little bit of a challenging first quarter?
And it's not like they're over and out. We're completely at holds on this game for the most part. Definitely both teams have a chance to make a big difference. Looks like the Colorado D-line is taking the field.
Number 7, Giants and Chargers, Justin Herbert. Wait a minute. Hang on a minute here.
Nope. Looks like that's Western Ultimate League Frisbee. I'd know it anywhere.
It looks like Cody Lippincott, right?
Mm-hmm.
Laying out, well done.
All right, so I'm going to just guess.
All right. That was a quick look back at the highlight reel where I believe Cody Lippincott made that beautiful catch on SportsCenter. We are having the team swap side. There was a little bit of a miscue there. I think they were going to where the game ended versus where they actually need to start on the quarter.
Lippincott starting this year where she left off last year with just a lot of highlight reel plays and excellent. An engine really driving the Sidewinders, who came out of the gate strong last weekend.
Yeah, I think also talking about the new structure for the league to be able to get to championship weekend, we actually have 2 conferences. So we have the Northwest Conference, which includes Utah, Colorado, Seattle, and Oregon. And with that, the top 2 teams from each division make championship weekend. Each team gets 2 crossovers into the other division, and it's total win-loss record for that division to get to championship weekend. So I know that the Wild and Colorado were cheering on the Super Bloom and the Sidewinders because they do not have to play them this season. All right, some quick movement there with Reich completely unmarked. A big put up to number 14. That was McLaughlin. Right in. That was a very fast point, and I'm sure that's exactly what the Alpenglow wanted to start this quarter with.
That was an awesome play. isolating McLaughlin in space with no help over the top. The Alpenglow running sort of a modified side stack there, and just quick, easy goal. That's what they're looking for. I think that's their first clean hold, and you love to see a fast, clean hold if you're an Alpenglow fan.
I said I wanted to see more from those former sidewinders, and they definitely did that.
Yeah.
All right, Alpenglow with the pull. That's Thorpe with a floaty pull that'll land just about middle. Songer with the pickup. Up to Kircher. Williams without a mark. Back to Songer. Kircher to Songer with a tight grab. Bigham with a wide mark on her. A big run and a beautiful grab from Bigham. In the successful kick spike.
Great use of space by the Wild, and the Alpenglow D-line just has no answer for Kircher and Songer right now. Look at this great throw, leading throw to space. Plenty of time for Corey to get under it. No defenders in the area, so also strong stack discipline from the downfield offensive players. This Wild O-line looks good.
It's looking good, and I think the Alpenglow were adjusting by widening their marks, but I think the Wild was able to still break through that pretty quickly. Wild D-line is back on the field while the Alpenglow line up.
And if you're just tuning in, it's been a bit of a, I would say, tentative start for both teams. The first point took 4 minutes, and most offensive possessions have been multi-turn, but we're settled in. We're on serve right now.
Wild with that short roller pull out of bounds. They're about half field. Pesh picking up. Larson unmarked.
It's got to be a little bit of defensive breakdown.
Looks like Hunter's going to pick that up. Over to Pesh with a beautiful inside to Dietrich. Up to McLaughlin. Atwell with the D.
I don't think the thrower there really thought through the whole thing. It just seems like they were trying to score quickly instead of score easily.
Norris under pressure to Robbins. Robbins with a high stall. Back to Norris. To Miller. To Caldwell. Caldwell to Atwell with the big layout D by Reed.
Bummer, a little bit late there. I am though really surprised at how easily the Wild are getting up line. But here's another chance for Colorado. Let's see if they can convert.
Trapped on that sideline again. We have McLaughlin in the middle with Caldwell. Over to Larson. Looks like the downfield's looking a little stagnant, but Pesh and Larson are still patiently working it through. A big put up to Dietrich. That was a beautiful throw. Dietrich's still in the end, still waiting in that red zone. McLaughlin's there. Oh, and a bobble there by Wright.
That's a tough unforced error, but especially in the end zone, an open end zone cut.
Caldwell in the middle, over to Robbins. Back to Caldwell. Looks like there's some stack management issues now from that D-line. But Atwell able to run that floaty disc down. Over to Wallen, who calls a timeout.
It's a WUL professional right there calling that timeout.
Didn't even wait for the coach. So as a reminder, with the WL rule set, both teams have the opportunity to sub out players. They can keep the same 7, they can sub all 7 out, or do a mix and match. So we'll see what each coach decides to do. Sometimes you do just want your D-line to complete the goal, but I mean, if your O-line is crushing like the Wild is right now, it looks like the O-line might be going out.
Yeah, maybe Wallen just needs a little breather after all that hard defensive work.
It looks like they're going to try and put the Alpenglow D-line out. So, yeah, there's Doborowski, there's Boyd. Trying to see who else I recognize, McKee.
And that's the Wild O-line out there as well.
Yes. So
I just got to think that's tough, again, if you're Colorado, to get open huck, get into the red zone, have a cut to the open side and drop it. And now you have to play defense on an O-line that has looked relatively sharp for today.
Yeah, it looks like Wild is setting up in that Burt stack with, it looks like that Hunter picking up? Oh no, Kircher.
Kircher.
Wow, I saw the 5 and got confused. Doborowski on the mark. You can feel the tension. Looks like Alpenglow is poached off a bit in the backfield. I'm not sure you can see that. But we have Songer with the disc to Cogburn. Cogburn waiting. Mack with a tight grab. Oh, looks like a stall was called. No contest. Cogburn putting the disc back to where the turn happened. So yeah, now the Alpenglow D-line have a chance to get a hold. Doborowski picking up. Over to Thorpe. To Murphy, who's looking still at Doborowski, but overthrows just a little bit. You can tell Kircher wants that pickup, but decides to run through. Kircher looking over to Stanislawski, over the head grab. With it around to Songer on the end zone line. Look at number 19 is poaching into the lane, trying to get that extra coverage. Kircher just with a bobble.
That's not what you want if you're the Wild O-line. 2 red zone turnovers to get a break even.
Doborowski to McKee to Kircher, who gets that D. And then Cogburn to Songer. And as a reminder, that is a break for the Wild, despite the fact that the O-line is out there.
A crucial break. That's exactly what you want. Your O-line gets now to rest. Your D-line just rested, and you're back out there. The D-line offense for Colorado really struggled on that possession.
Yeah, and at this point, is it nerves or is it discipline that's causing them to? They're generating these turns, but they just aren't able to sustain possession.
Looks a lot like nerves to me.
I hope so. I really want to see them shine. Looks like it's getting windier out there. We do have some tents on the sideline that you can see. We can see them puffing up a little bit more and moving more than is probably safe. Right now we're looking at Wild coach Aguilar talk to that O-line, making sure that they feel comfortable in what happened. And we're back on the field with Larson picking up to Pesh. Over to McLaughlin, to Dietrich, to Pesh.
They're back to that forced middle.
That was some really quick disc movement.
And that's an unforced error.
Yeah.
That's got to be a nerves play.
Norris picking up over to Terpstra. To Caldwell with the sliding grab. They swung it across the field to Robbins. Giving that to Caldwell. Terpstra with a big put to Wallen, just out of her reach. I think it needed just a little bit more float on it.
Yeah, and those shots with the wind coming from the viewer's left here to right, you need to put a little less edge and a little more float on those discs. But again, the Wild are producing a lot of pressure and producing a lot of turnovers.
Yeah, it looks like Alpenglow's coming out in that split stack, looking for Reed deep, but Wallen's on her. Reich with a miss throw to McLaughlin.
The forced middle is making those Colorado throwers come back to their inside throws, and it's just not quite. They're just not quite easy enough right now for the team.
Sarah Ito's poaching off on Carrie Shelke, which allowed that around by Caldwell. I think Ito was going to Wallen with a fingertip grab, which wasn't able to maintain possession. All right, we have Larson picking up, looking for Pesh to get that middle. An overthrow to Reed. The Wild this is their third chance to break?
It's at least their third, maybe their fourth, and I think there's a lot of good opportunities here. I just like them to punch it in, and right as I say that, I curse them. Let's see if the Alpenglow can get this one in.
Pesh picks up over to McLaughlin. Back to Pesh. Looks like Alpenglow's utilizing their handles, but not necessarily for positive yards. Wallen tried to go for the D, but wasn't there. And that is in. That's right with the goal. Not necessarily a point you want to see from an O-line. Looks like most of it were just miscues and overthrows, rather. I mean, while the Wild is generating a lot of pressure with that forced middle, I know these throwers are incredible, and we want to see them hitting those tight windows accurately.
Yeah, that break that break that was flipped to the goal was great by Alpenglow, but it came off a short field turnover. I think I want to see the Alpenglow work the field a full 70 before put a lot more trust in this offensive line.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, they're scoring.
At the end of the day, a goal's a goal.
Yep.
And we have about 4 minutes left in this quarter.
Yeah, I think we can complain about how messy they look, but at the end of the day, they're still only one down to Utah and still within striking distance for this game.
And I mean, I am not on the field for a reason, so these players are incredible, and I want to see really what they can do. Bosch with the pull.
Yep, it's a 6-5 Utah lead, Utah receiving.
Wild in that vert stack. Oh, looks like there was a call. A contested call. I'm trying to figure out what the call was. Potentially, I would assume a stall unless there was a foul. And there's that pre-stall happening, so players have 4 seconds to move before the disc can get checked in on some calls if there's a full stoppage. We have Stanislawski with the grab over to Stoller, who dumps it back to Songer. While I think the Wild stack is very disciplined, they aren't necessarily getting a lot of downfield looks. They're mostly getting those up lines or those swings. Aragon really showing her speed there. Oh, but with a nice poachy D by Philly. I think Philly saw that developing and was able to take advantage very quickly.
Really, wide open upline cut just led just too far there.
Boyd in the middle for that side stack, which was their main cutter. To McKee, oh, it looks like there was a trip on the field. I hope they're okay. It looks like an ankle. Yeah, that was Bosch calling an injury. Well, the shoe is off. So it looks like Thorpe is going to sub in for Bosch.
At this point, I'm just curious if the D-line offense can move it the full length of the field for Alpenglow. They've really struggled to move it both laterally and vertically.
Yeah, I know Bosch was a big player for them too, so we'll see how they do without her. We have Liz Murphy with the disc. Bigham getting very close on Philly. Up to Thorpe. All working along the same edge of the end zone with Boyd. A foul called. Looks like she stepped into Cogburn and Cogburn was moving.
Uncontested foul. Wild need to stop getting beat to the fourth side, and you want to see Alpenglow. Alpenglow needs to use that break side.
That was a beautiful grab by Thorpe.
And right as I say that,
they say, Alpenglow says, yeah, let's do that.
And that's just a real missed chance for Utah.
Yeah, Stoller was there, but just didn't get the D in time, and Thorpe was faster. That was a beautiful putt.
Yeah, I think that shows the throwing prowess of Colorado right there.
Yeah, while Stoller was a threat, I think she really didn't have a play on that disc safely unless it was a massive bid.
I think with a 1:45 left in the second quarter, you want to see Utah either score quickly to get the D-line back out there and potentially have two offensive possessions. Colorado's one to finish out this half, or score in 2 minutes. Curious to see what strategy Alpenglow takes into this end of half scenario.
Yeah, I know that they're probably hungry for that break, especially a way to end the quarter. They'll start next quarter on D no matter what. Just slides out of bounds. Kircher picking up. Oh, the stall must be getting high. Yeah, a big boost. Close to Burkett. That had to be a high stall look. I'm sure Alpenglow's very pleased with that. Over to Boyd. To Kleinkopf. Number 5, Mimak, fully unmarked. There we go. They've worked it across the entire field with a missed throw there. Looks like she didn't expect that cut from Lavoie to go quite that way. We have Songer picking up unmarked. It's taking her sweet time since she does not have a 7-second stall. Over to Cogburn, who bobbles it. We have Daniels running deep, but Alpenglow looks to chill.
While the offensive line has broken down a little bit, and right as I say that, an unforced error for Alpenglow's D-line offense.
Now Perkett's signaling to chill out a little bit.
Yeah, I think with 20 seconds left.
I just heard a timeout buzzer go.
I like this timeout call right here. With 20 seconds left, you want the Wild to score this goal with 0 seconds on the clock, taking a 1-goal lead into half.
And then immediately starting on O again for the next quarter.
Correct, yeah. That would be a situation that would result in a 2-goal lead.
Yeah, since the Wild is on O, I believe that they're also going to keep their O-line out there. We're also going to do a quick word from our sponsor. Own a Utah vacation rental? Vacasa's your ultimate partner. Head over to vacasa.com to see how Vacasa keeps your vacation home booked, cared for, and earning its highest potential. Thank you, Vacasa, for sponsoring the Wild. All right, with that quick sponsor break. I'm interested to see who Alpenglow keeps on. It looks like Daniels is still on, as well as Boyd. There's Reich, Thorpe, McLaughlin. So it looks like an interesting combination of that O and D line out there.
I like that for Alpenglow. I like the opportunity to have some offensive firepower if there is a turnover.
I'll also flag that the Wild brought on Miller and Caldwell.
And the Wild doing a little bit of
a foul called?
Yes. Wild doing a little bit of back swinging to burn a little time off the clock, which I like.
All right, we have Kircher up to Stanislawski.
5, 4, 3,
to Bigham, who's fully unmarked, as well as Williams, who's also unmarked. So in the WUL, while the timer is out, this is the final possession, which Miller is able to seal. The Wild gets that goal, and we have pass Williams to Kendra Miller with that BYU connection.
This leading throw from Songer to Williams right here, and then Miller just beats her defender to the force side cone. Easy goal with time off the clock, and that's exactly how you want to run an end of quarter scenario. The Wild possessed the disc until there was no chance of Alpenglow having an opportunity to get a break, and then scored.
Yeah, so we are now at halftime. It's been an interesting game so far. Obviously, neither team has specifically outshone the other. I think we've seen a lot of potential, and now during half, I think teams are going to take the time to refocus and kind of understand and play their game. There have been a lot of miscues from both teams, and I'm going to attribute that to nerves, but hopefully that's something we don't see continued throughout the season. Alpenglow has done a really good job moving the disc quickly, as well as through their handlers. They just need to get those downfield chunk yards.
Okay, and I think we're about to throw it down to the sideline for an interview.
We have...
But before that, I think another big part of this puzzle might have to do with there being it being winter, really, in this part of the world, and not a lot of opportunities to play outside.
Yeah, I mean, we also saw this type of playing happen at the Sidewinders Showdown last weekend.
Not the window. Where are we?
Sorry, we're trying to figure out our sideline interview, but we are going to be talking to Sarah Ito.
God, I don't trust you.
We might be having some audio issues, but we are trying our best, I swear. But yeah, I would say we saw some of the similar mistakes at Sidewinders Showdown last weekend with Seattle, Oregon, Arizona, and San Diego. There were a lot of bobbles and just through the hands throws. All right, looks like we're ready.
How are you feeling about this first game?
Looks like we're having some.
It's great to be here, first of all. I think we came out a little slow. We need to be tighter on our matchups. We're kind of pushing downfield too far, so we need to bring that in a little bit closer. And I think we'll do a lot better.
Awesome. Do you feel like nerves are coming into play in this first game for this new team, or are you all rising to the occasion?
I think coming out to start the game, it felt like we were a little nervous, but we feel like we're selling it. Right now.
Thank you so much for your time. We'll let you get back to your team.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Good.
Thank you. You can see her talk there about being a little nervous, and I think that showed on the field as well.
Yeah, I think taking some time to recenter yourself and kind of remember that you love this sport and are very good at it. At least that's what calms me down. Yeah, now, Alex, what else are you seeing out there? I mean, I think Alpenglow have a lot of offensive looks, but it seems like the Wild has been able to shut a lot of those downs. What kind of adjustments do you think Alpenglow could make during this halftime?
I think that the big thing they could do is stop the easy upline motion and handler motion of Utah. They're generating a lot of easy open looks off of that.
And I will do a quick thank you to our sponsor. We'd like to thank Strive and Uplift. Strive and Uplift provides lifting and running programming to wild athletes through their values of accessibility, support, growth, and service. Strive and Uplift is passionate about providing high-quality movement education and sport performance guidance in a supportive environment. Through cultivating community spaces for movement and connection, Strive and Uplift help all their individuals of all abilities to discover how to move confidently in their bodies. To learn more, visit striveanduplift.com. A huge thank you to Strive and Uplift for being a sponsor of the Utah Wild.
I really want to show young girls that they can be athletes too. I've struggled with imposter syndrome, and I've really had to ground myself in why I play. I play because it's fun. I like to compete. I like to show it with my teammates. I like to push myself to be the best. And I think being out there and doing that for them and having other people see and potentially think that, hey, that can be me one day, that's really exciting.
I know I've struggled in my own life to take up space, and I think that it's so amazing that the Ultimate Field has changed that for me. That I can get out there and I'm no, I know I am a good cutter and I know what I need to do here and I know my role on the team. And I think that it's just helped me open up so much. It's also led to more confidence for myself, and I really want for other women and non-binary folk to see that, oh, they're out there doing this. How do I get into that? What does that look like? What's my role there?
I really liked a combination of both endurance and shorter, more competitive sprints, and then also going up directly against players. And I think that also is what attracted me to Ultimate as well. Understanding what you're capable of doing is just a really great experience that kind of drives you to just get better at those individual skills in sports.
My Ultimate story, I've been fortunate to have coaches and friends and the community to encourage me to be the player that I am today and ultimately fall in love with the sport of Ultimate. So I hope that the Western Ultimate League, like this program we have today, the Open Side, we continue to connect and welcome new fans and future players and continue growing this community that we all love. I think hopefully one day that someone will fall in love with the sport as much as I love it.
I think that's the biggest thing for me, is just knowing that we're giving an opportunity and visibility to the sport for young women. It's the best thing.
One more time.
Oh
yeah! Oh yeah!
Baby!
Cody!
We believe that women and non-binary athletes deserve to be seen and our abilities showcased for the world to see.
We believe in perpetuating Ultimate by establishing professional teams and developing future generations of players.
We believe players of all identities and backgrounds deserve an equal opportunity to be recognized and lauded for our achievements in our sport.
We believe in sustainably and responsibly creating equitable and accessible avenues for women and non-binary athletes to join and participate in our sport.
We believe that being transparent,
open,
and responsive to criticism is critical,
and that there should always be space
to fix our mistakes,
grow, and be better.
We are the Western Ultimate League.
All right, and we are back. Utah Wild versus the Colorado Alpenglow. The Wild is up by 1 point. It's been a really close game so far with a lot of tight plays. I think both teams are showing some signs of playing indoors all the last few months together, and there have definitely been some bobbles. I'm excited to see what they can do and what adjustments they make over halftime.
I think the key adjustment right here for the
All right,
Wild
and we are back. Utah Wild versus the Colorado Alpenglow. The Wild is up by 1 point. It's been a really close game so far with a lot of tight plays. I think both teams are showing some signs of playing indoors all the last.
Hello?
All right, we're getting ready for the poll to start the second half, aka the third quarter. The Wild is starting on offense. Looks like the Wild is looking forward to trying to get that hold so they would be up by 2 points.
Yeah, I think this is key coming out of the half. Score to end the half. If you can score first possession here, you switch from a tie game to a 2-goal lead.
Looks like there's some discussion with the observers. Just making sure that the people who are actually starting on D have the disc.
Okay, now that we've got that sorted out, I think we're ready. We're ready for the second half. Ready to see some big plays. Ready to see that explosiveness that I think we know Colorado is capable of. That has sort of been capped in the first half.
It looks like number 16, Abby Thorpe on Alpenglow, is looking to do the pull. So far, I haven't seen any signs of Bosch returning to the field after that injury call. So we'll see if she comes back. All right, a big floaty pull landing where basically every pull from that side has landed. We have Songer picking up. Looking for number 2, Stanislawski, with a big put up to 58 Kircher with a quick grab.
Just a beautiful put down the break side space to Kircher, easily there, and no opportunity for a defender.
Yeah, I think that was really well played. I'm not sure if that was a pull play or not, but Stanislawski's got the throws, and I think she hasn't had a chance to showcase them yet this game. Looked like the Alpenglow D-line didn't really have a chance on getting that play.
Yeah, you could see Daniels recognize that the huck was going up, but she was already out of position due to the great throw by number 2, Brooke Stanislawski.
Yeah, that point took about 20 seconds, so I definitely think teams are excited to score and score quickly. Anytime an O-line has a clean hold, that's something to celebrate. I don't know if you can hear in the stands, but they have started chanting Carly for Carly Atwell. Like we said, she's coming back from an ACL tear, and she hasn't had a chance to play outside of college for a little bit.
Strong pull by number 27. Looks like this is the first point for number 15, Sailor Ong, as well, potentially.
Yeah, Ong is a BYU Chi alumni, and the only lefty on the team.
A little bit of zone here too for the Wild.
Larson back to Pesh, doing what they've done for a lot of this.
Just standing in those throwing lanes, making it really difficult.
Thorpe up to Dietrich, who with a pick call. So it looks like it goes back to Thorpe.
16 Thorpe is doing a lot of work tonight.
Yeah, she has really quick movement and she's a fantastic initiating cutter for the Alpenglow. Dietrich just a little bit too long and the wrong angle for that upline, but Thorpe definitely had her defender there.
I'd like to see the Wild push the pace a little bit here, get an open look, get it downfield, and make the offense for Colorado have to work it, even if they don't get this break.
Oh, that was a really tight window to hit, and Shucky just couldn't bring it in after that contact with 25 Reich. We have Pesh picking up number 97 with a quick lefty over Ong's head to Thorpe.
Great high release by number 97, Sarah Pesch. To a goal, yes, by Abby Thorpe. And that's where you want to see. I really would have liked to see Atwell push the disc vertically. They had to go less than a yard to score there. So forcing the turn is great, but you really want to see. You really want to see the offense being asked to do a lot more work than that.
And I think the Alpenglow O-line is stepping up on their defensive looks. They didn't even have a mark on Atwell at first, but instead they had 2 people standing in the lane. So Atwell didn't necessarily have a lot of vertical options unless she did a big around past the vertical stack. She eventually settled for Hunter, but it put the Wild in a bad position. We have Kircher in the center. Over to Stanislawski again. Looked like Stanislawski was looking for the huck, but settles for Songer. Perkett to Stanislawski. In a power position, almost looked at Songer. Over to Cogburn. To Bigham. Kircher up to Songer, a little high. But the Wild has done a really good job swinging the disc back and forth.
Oh,
and
yes.
Bigham!
A really strong grab by Bigham on a throw that was just behind her by Songer, by number 48 Songer.
Yeah, so we have Songer grabbing the disc. Bigham with just no defender in the area and changes her momentum so she can fully go horizontal and grab that disc. That was incredible.
That's a great way to retain possession. The Wild, once again, made that offense look easy and then very, very exciting at the end. The Alpenglow D-line is just not able to slow down the handler motion right now.
All right, with a 9-7 point differential and about 9.5 minutes left to go in this quarter, we have a lot of things that could change. Caldwell with the pull. We have Pesch picking up with Larson in the back. It looks like a zone look again with Miller up front, Hunter and Terpstra as the wings. I think the Wild's trying to force a lot of small throws since we have seen some execution errors. Over to Kleinkopf.
Larson to Kleinkopf there.
It looks like Wild folded back into a person defense. Wow, that was a great grab by Larson to maintain possession. And a beautiful around over to Kleinkopf.
All this work so far, and they've gained about 4 yards.
A good containment there by the Wild defense, but Kleinkopf gets that beautiful IO to Pesch. We have number 25 Reich with an overthrow to Reed.
I think that was just a D by number 16 Shea Wallen. Great close on that D by Shea, and really strong defensive pressure by the Wild to force that throw. We have a stoppage right now.
Looks like Thorpe is on. Looks like there's a little bit of discussion to figure out what's happening next.
Not clear exactly what that stoppage was, but it's fully resolved.
Hunter with a beautiful inside to Caldwell. Back to Hunter. Good communication there for Wallen. Tied on the line to Miller with the toes.
Strong grab in traffic by Kendra Miller.
Over to Schelke. Wild has been able to swing the disc. Ooh, Hunter just couldn't quite make that grab under Kleinkopf's pressure. It looks like 44 Boyd is just going deep unmarked. Caldwell peels off, but there's McLaughlin. Up to Aubrey Dietrich, number 48, with a beautiful layout grab.
Excellent grab by Dietrich.
And the spike to also maintain the hype.
Really love that look. I think Colorado seems really comfortable when they're able to throw it deep, really have those long yardage shots. They look really uncomfortable swinging the disc right now. A lot of their easy goals have been on deep throws.
Yeah, I think once they're able to get that momentum past the Wild D-line, they're obviously really ready to make those big throws and those interesting looks. They just right now haven't been generating much movement in the downfield if the handlers are being shut down.
That's another tough one, I think, for the Wild D-line. Great opportunity inside the red zone. And yeah, if you're Alpenglow, they're not pretty, but they're still scores.
Looks like Bosch is back out on the field with the pole that rolls out of bounds.
Starting again with Songer.
Making Songer really work for it.
Okay, the downfield are really overplaying this forced sideline for the downfield defense.
Kircher with the upline. Up to Stoller in that same space. Bingham able to swing the field to Cogburn. That was some really fast movement by the Wild.
Kircher to Cogburn, that's the mixtape connection, and you see here to 38 Corey Bingham, easy dish to Paige Kircher, who sees Jen Cogburn wide open. That's the mixtape. That's that mixtape Boise knowledge connection, and an easy hold for the Wild offensive line. That's what you're looking for. That's what you want.
And I apologize to Corey. I believe I accidentally said Bingham instead of Bigham. I'm trying my best.
Yeah, she's going to find you.
There's just going to be a glitter note at
my
house.
Fact about Corey, she holds grudges.
So it's still been a set of holds this quarter.
Yeah, both teams still looking for the first break of this quarter. Carly Atwell gets all of that one.
I'm interested to see if the wind is also impacting the D-lines of both teams' ability to generate any type of goals, since we've only been scoring in that north end zone.
Yeah, very few goals in the left end zone on the screen here.
Looks like Alpenglow's trying to play small ball there.
This isn't their game. I'm surprised they're really going for it.
Wallen with a very tight mark. Ooh, Robbins trying to get that layout. Dion McLaughlin with a big put up to Dietrich, where it lands at her feet.
And another opportunity for Utah. I think if Utah gets to about the 40, either 40, you call a timeout and get the offensive line in. Give yourself a chance.
A great around by Atwell with an unmarked Wallen. Atwell digging up that up line with a big put to Miller, but it's very floaty. It's a big pile up. And McLaughlin with that D.
That great D. But now they got to work the full 70. I'm curious to see how this goes for this O-line that's really struggled tonight, to be honest.
That was a great D by McLaughlin.
Yes.
She's able to run from that backfield and very assertively swat that disc down. No player on either team had a chance to get a second play at that.
Yeah, she closed over 20 yards to get a play on that disc.
All right, we have Larson to Kleinkopf.
Oh,
still on that line.
Very
that
close for Hunter.
We have Atwell with the D on number 25 right.
Too narrow of a shot.
Miller was also there.
Yeah.
Ooh, but Reed saying, nope, not today.
Tough. You really want – I'd like to see the Wild move a little faster on these turnovers as well.
Yeah, they are moving pretty slowly.
Great inside shot.
On the line, and that is 25 Reich to Dietrich.
Easy break side look.
Looks like Wild was kind of gassed on that point. But
yeah. I think we were definitely starting to see an upwind, downwind game. the end zone that you're watching this replay score in with a throw from Reich to Dietrich is the end zone. I think all the goals in this quarter have been scored in. So interested to see if we can get the upwind end zone, the south end zone, see if we can get a score in there.
Yeah, we have just under 5 minutes left in the quarter, and it's 10-9. I'm sure both teams really want to break. Now, it looks like there have been no other line adjustments for either team for the most part. I think they feel both very confident in what their lines can do. And that lands out of bounds. I think that's our first not on purpose out of bounds pull for this game. And I think the wind is really picking up.
Big difference between rolling it out of bounds and throwing it out of bounds is now Utah gets in the middle.
We have Aragon to Songer in a power position. Back to Aragon. Ooh, McLaughlin really close on that. I lied. McLaughlin is on the D-line right now.
Crossing her over, trying to get some breaks.
We have Stanislawski to Williams. With Bigham in the end zone. An easy hold from the Wild. I think while there was some tight pressure on the throws, Wild felt in control the entire time.
That assist by Williams shows her growth as a player too. Last year she was more of a D-line player, not looking downfield. You can see her development this year into a downfield distributor, or downfield continuation and distributor.
I think Williams is hungry this year.
Yeah. Cass, a talented player, has told me multiple times that her true sport is volleyball. So if you are looking for a volleyball player, let her know.
Also, Kendra, in her limited free time, also plays volleyball. All right, McLaughlin's still on for the Alpenglow. This will be her third point in a row. We have Caldwell with the pole. Right on that sideline.
Another strong pull.
They're able to center to Kleinkopf. Up to Larson in power position with a quick dish to 25 Reich. Back to Larson.
And that
to Thorpe.
Quick strike got the defense out of its initial set.
Thorpe getting into that red zone. Oh, with the D by Terpstra. Caldwell with a big put to Terpstra.
That's a great fast break by Terpstra. Let's see if Wallen can make something happen.
I think the excitement of the point might have gotten to her, but and Alpenglow puts it to Caldwell with the D. That was Hannah Mimak with the throw, number 5.
I really want to see Utah call a timeout next time that happens.
Yes. I think Utah would like to see that too. We have Schelke with a boost up to McCready under pressure with the score.
Okay, just kidding.
They don't need it.
Strong catch in traffic again. Utah just really hunting for all these blocks, and on a turn, this vertically oriented possession was great. Schelke seeing McCready open, and McCready just catching in traffic.
That was a beautiful throw by Schelke. It had just enough angle and float for McCready to run onto it. And then McCready was able to maintain composure under that tight pressure by Alpenglow. So that is the first break of this quarter. We finally scored in that southern end zone.
Thorpe working hard there, unfortunately, but Utah was looking good there, and that's a key break at an important time.
All right, and we have a quick word from our sponsor. We're thrilled to announce the official brewery of the Utah Wild for 2023, Bewilder Brewing. You can find us celebrating every Utah Wild game this year at this local brew pub. Their huge projector screen, great food menu, and award-winning beer make this a great home for our watch parties and after parties. But be wilder and head on over to Bewilder Brewing right after this game for Wild's official after party. This venue is 21 plus.
I do love a good Bewilder after a long day of watching the Wild. They also have a delicious food menu.
Yeah, they have great food, and their brunch is really nice, especially for those Sunday games.
Yeah. You can go to the farmer's market in the summer and then walk on down and pick up some ice cold beer.
I was going to say ignore all the vegetables you just brought.
Yeah.
Do something else.
Eat a fried pretzel.
Those pretzels are delicious.
Oh my goodness. It looks like we got a timeout here. We don't have word on who called it, but I'm going to assume it was Colorado.
I'm going to assume Alpenglow as well. Looks like they took the time to really circle up as a team, while the Utah Wild D-line has stayed on the end zone chatting with their coach, Tanya Wrights. Let's see what adjustments they make out there. There's Sarah Ito, number 4. There's number 24, Jess Larson again. We have McLaughlin out there again. We have Murphy. We have Mimic. Reed, I think Reed's an important pullover. I mean, she's been playing on both lines for the most part.
I think notably Reed. Pesh is off right now. Pesh and Thorpe don't appear to be on.
That wholesale's right out of bounds.
Tough.
So it's going to be Philly back with Larson. We'll see how their chemistry is looking. It looks like Wild's coming down in that zone again. Yeah, Wild is setting up in that zone, and I think Alpenglow is recognizing and adjusting their offensive sets. We have Larson over to Philly, back to Larson. Larson in that power position, but Shelley gets there in time, and it looks like Wild is back to that match D, but let's see, Murphy was going deep with no one on her. They have Larson to Mimac. So Ito. Looks like Wild is backing their defenders, so trying to really force them to that under. A big put to Kristen Reed, who, gets it under. Not a lot of pressure. That was a really great throw.
Yeah, a strong shot to open space. Ito makes that look easy, an easy throw in these upwind conditions. And Reed does what she does best, score goals. I want to say the Wild did a really strong job of taking away easy deep looks until the very end there, and that's immediately what Colorado scored on.
Yeah, I think Wild let up for just a second and, immediately got roasted.
And if you're Colorado, I think you try and generate some more of those easy, open, deep looks in the later half of this game.
Yeah, it looked like Colorado had that power position a few times with Larson going upline, but she didn't have any better downfield options and had to wait for a few seconds for a cut to develop. All right, we have Kircher unmarked, and then Stanislawski unmarked. Back to Kircher on that upline power position. All right, we have Songer up to Williams. Oh, just the wrong angle.
They put an edge on stuff tonight. It is getting pushed around.
All right, we have Kleinkopf picking up. Trying to find those downfield options to 44. Boyd with a big put to Thorpe.
Guarded by Cogburn.
And Thorpe's got it. That was right on that end zone and right on that sideline. Williams calling Cogburn to come help with McLaughlin. And with a tight break, that's another break. That was a really good throw by Thorpe under tight pressure, and I think McLaughlin was able to just carve out that space in that end zone. You can see Thorpe getting pushed sideline, and McLaughlin just cutting right through Cogburn, just being able to maintain her own space while Cogburn's back was turned to the disc. And that's a break. So we've had a break each with 1 minute and 3 seconds left in the quarter.
And now it's turned pretty quickly. 12-9, Utah to a 12-11 Utah lead. I think they just take a deep breath, get it going again.
Yeah, it looks like they're keeping the majority of that O-line out there.
Yeah, I think the offensive sets for Utah look really strong. Just want to take a deep breath and focus on throwing completions.
Yeah, when they don't force it too quickly, it works really well. Taylor's oldest time, Kircher to Songer to Stanislawski. We have Williams with Bigham unmarked to Perkett to a wide open Songer. I think that's definitely what the Wild wanted last time, but
put another candle in the birthday cake for Mac, for Perkett right there, number 1. But
yeah, that was some beautiful downfield movement from the Wild. You say Bigham doing to Perkett with that slash cut, and she sees Songer just wide open, no defender, and hits that immediately. There was no hesitation there.
You can see the Alpenglow have no answer for those quick upline handler movement, and it was really not clear to me there what the defense was forcing, because the mark forced into the sideline, but that's where there was a wide open Utah cutter. Well, they're back on O. McLaughlin out here again. High usage player for Colorado tonight, that's for sure. Number 14, McLaughlin. We've also got Dietrich. Looks like we have Pesh back out there. Abby Thorpe.
We have Reed.
And Jess Larson.
All right, Wild looking to trap that sideline again. No one is helping Alpenglow get that disc, which is rolled pretty far. Alpenglow's still setting up and with Dietrich as a main cutter. Reed pulling into that lane.
For Terpstra and 21 Caldwell really coming in tight to pressure those around throws, make those very, very difficult.
Thorpe being able to get that up line with that beautiful inside with a laying out Larson. So now Alpenglow has been able to get that off the sideline and still do some handler movement there.
Strong switch by Miller and Caldwell.
Yeah, we have a hammer throw into traffic with, that's Robbins out there.
Too easy for Molly. She's been playing this game too long for that to be difficult.
We have some backfield movement with Caldwell down to Wallen. To Terpstra, but yeah, Thorpe was there. I think Terpstra was moving her cut to get out of that lane, and Wallen threw it a little too late. Looks like a timeout was called.
We have a timeout called, and we have no time left in the quarter.
I don't know whether that was called by the Wild while they still had a possession, or oh wait, that's just the quarter.
I'm also not sure if the quarter may have ended. It's a tough way for the quarter to end, but if you're the Wild, you happily take a 2-goal lead into the 4th.
Yeah, that looks like that was the quarter end. That was my bad. So yeah, we have a 2-goal lead. Colorado will be starting on offense. So
yeah, 13-11 lead for Utah here in Salt Lake City. It's been, I think the Wild have looked a lot more poised tonight, which makes sense. It's the Alpenglow's first game as a team, and they're on the road, and they're dealing with the new WUL rule set, and I think incorporating players from a lot of different teams all over, not just Colorado, but they've got players from New Mexico, notably Jaden McLaughlin.
Yeah, I think both teams have been trying to find their footing this game, and the Wild found theirs a little bit faster. They still don't have really any breathing room, though, but I don't think there are going to be any major changes for each team. They both seem to be working pretty well on their O and D lines. It really is just working on completions and working on smart throws.
Yeah, it will be very interesting to see the hold percentages for both teams and the clean hold percentages as well, because I think the Wild have had a few more easy offensive possessions, and that seems to have made the difference so far.
You're right now looking at the beautiful view of the Wasatch Mountains. We ironically also have our own Alpenglow here. But yeah, this is a beautiful view of the Salt Lake Valley.
And it's pretty much the first day we've seen this year is what it feels like, or the first week of it.
I was religiously checking the weather to make sure we didn't have another wild weekend of last year where it was more of a wet and wild weekend where we played in snow and rain and hail and sun and a lot of wind.
Yep. You knew that Onyx, when they came out and experienced that, felt just at home. Watching, there was an Onyx Super Bloom game here last year, and the Super Bloom did not look comfortable in those conditions. Okay, we've got Utah out on defense, Colorado out on offense.
There's a view of the neighborhood that we're in. Like I said, we're on a hill that leads directly into the basin of the Salt Lake Valley. We're pretty close to downtown, and we love playing at Judge Memorial. All right.
Not a lot of changes here. Atwell to pull, Caldwell, Hunter, Norris, Miller, Robbins, and Wallen for Utah's D-line.
Yeah, I'm interested to see Wallen play a little bit more. She's had a relatively quiet game.
For one of the block leaders in the WUL.
All right, sails right out of bounds, so close. We have Pesh picking up. We have McKee, and then so we'll have Larson back with Pesh. Wild is in that zone again.
So Colorado moving, McKee played a lot of defensive points earlier in the game and now is playing offense. So I'm curious what Colorado is trying to do here, if they are tinkering with their lineups for any particular reason.
Caldwell with the D. That was some great vision by Caldwell.
Excellent closing speed by Caldwell, forcing that easy goal.
We have Atwell.
Easy turnover. Yep, Atwell.
Over to Caldwell to spread the field. Norris. Oh, there was a call.
There is a stoppage.
What?
It appears a timeout was called by Utah. Love this timeout call right here.
A bold timeout call in that the first 2 minutes of the quarter. I think Wild wants their O-line on to really make sure that we seal the deal. And we'll see how Alpenglow adjusts. It looks like the O-line is still standing around.
This would be their first time out of the half.
It looks like the D-line's coming in for Alpenglow. So we'll have Mimak, we'll have Thorpe, we'll have Philly, Ito. Yeah, it looks like they're doing a wholesale swap over, just like the Wild.
And that turnover by the Wild was an excellent turnover because Colorado didn't even really get to move the disc more than 5 yards before it was blocked by Caldwell with her high level, number 21, with a high level closing speed on that swing.
And Caldwell caught that as they were moving, they were transitioning out of that zone into more of a match D. So if you rewatch it, you'll see her check her shoulder and see that McKee is right behind her and just, I would say, even baits that throw. She did a really phenomenal job there.
I think if you're the Wild, you want your offense to put this in smoothly, very smoothly. And if you're Alpenglow, this is a really pivotal moment of the game.
And we have Ito pulled out in the lane for Alpenglow to kind of cut off those downfield looks. And we have Kircher to Aragon to Bigham. Back to Kircher in that center field. And some swirly offense by the Wild.
It's another slash cut.
Brooke really wanted to score there, you could tell. Close, but she's not in quite yet. So Stanislawski knocking on the door with an arc over to Kircher.
It's too easy right now for the Utah offense. You see a lot of the front of the stack cutters here going up line. Here we see 58 Kircher go up line into the easy space, Great throw by Brooke. All the defenders are occupied. There's no opportunity for a help defensive situation. But as we watch the offense, the Utah cutters and handlers movement are doing an excellent job of pushing their cut to the break side, planting, and coming flat across. And the Colorado defense has no answer for it. Either they don't trust the mark or they're just being caught off guard.
And Kircher stretched that up line really far for that vertical space. She didn't do a traditional arcing cut to that direct upline space. She gave herself the room to run onto it.
They're showing a lot of trust as an offensive line unit here. And
Wild with that rolling pull. Again, looking to trap. Looks like Norris is on mark.
Seems to be a purposeful decision to make it difficult for this team to huck. Pesh with the disc. And again, they're fronting that front of the stack, making it difficult to swing.
A nice inside look. We have McLaughlin throwing it back to Pesh. Pesh has been hitting that inside backhand all game. While Schelke has 25 Reich on the sideline. Ooh, that was dicey.
I might expect to see a guard here. I think that should have been I think that was pretty aggressive contest by Wallen there.
Yeah, we'll see. It looks like Alpenglow has some medical staff as well as there's an AT on hand. The clock has stopped, which I think is also an important flag.
It's 14-11 here. Utah 14, Colorado 11 here in the fourth. Colorado Utah pulling away a little bit here. Colorado trying to stay close, and this was a goal-scoring play. She did not completely catch, but I think we would expect to see the goal stand after the injury is resolved.
I think, yeah, also the WUL has a dangerous play review committee where we have a chance to review any cards given during the game as well as maybe request cards after. So coaches have a chance to maybe challenge cards that they think were given unfairly as well as give cards retroactively. So Reed is walking off the field, which we love to see. I hope she's okay.
And the yellow card has been issued to
Wallen,
to number 16, and I think that's completely the right decision by the officiating staff, and I like the decisive carding.
And it looks like the goal stands.
Yeah.
So, not necessarily how Colorado wants to score. They want to score at any cost, but not at the cost of one of their players' safety. Yeah, the game is still really tight.
And that's another goal for Kristen Reed, who has, despite having a difficult night for Colorado, has been lighting up the stat sheet. And I really think another notable thing there, for the folks at home, is Colorado did not move the disc past the center of the field. They scored, and they are spending most of their time scoring in the upfield space.
Yeah.
So the Utah defensive line, well, not being as efficient as I think they'd like, is forcing those players, forcing Colorado into a bunch of situations that they're not 100% comfortable with.
It looks like yet again no major line changes for the Wilds, and the disc lands at about center field. Songer to Kircher.
Ito on defense right now. That's new.
Over to Stanislawski to a wide open Williams. Williams to Cogburn.
It's just too easy. These uplines are too easy for Utah.
That was a beautiful cut by Songer to Bigham. That looked easy out there. And I know it's probably frustrating for the Colorado Alpenglow, but
4 of the 7 members of this offensive line have played on mixtape last year. Bigham at Worlds and the other 3 at Club Nationals, and you can see the familiarity. It's Cogburn, Kircher, Songer, and Bigham, and you can see their comfort with each other right now showing through.
And I mean, not to discount Stanislawski and Stoller, who I would say are players that are incredibly easy to play with. I think they both can fulfill just really important roles on the field, whether that is that initiating cut or just those roles that even create space. I think Stanislawski really hasn't had a mark on her whole game. She's been running around the Alpenglow defense.
15-12 Utah, really keeping Colorado at arm's length right now with 9 minutes left. And Leah, I think the big story of tonight has just been Colorado has not looked comfortable on either side of the disc. They've had moments, but realistically, I think Utah's game plan is succeeding. Utah coming down in a diamond zone once again, stopping any sort of pull play.
They are destroying Utah with that inside look, but they aren't able to capitalize off of it. They're able to break that mark, but they don't continue the momentum. And
spending most of their time in a 10-yard wide box.
Well, that's a great run by Thorpe. And that was a beautiful put by Kleinkopf. I think they were finally able to, I think Thorpe was able to get that step on Schelke. Yeah, and you see.
You can see Thorpe turning Schelke's hips. Easy throw for Kleinkopf to the back corner. Utah forcing them to use the forced sideline. Now needs to close down these spaces and make these cuts, contest these throws a little bit stronger. But that's the offense you're looking for out of Colorado. Very clean, very patient.
Yeah, I think they had about an equal number of handler resets as well as downfield looks. So
I'd like to see Utah go back to the forced middle, I think, on the next one.
Yeah.
Now, McLaughlin on D-line pulling right now.
Reed is back on. No, wait, that's not Reed. That's Murphy. I'm so sorry. Murphy's on the field. And we have, Kircher over to Stanislawski, who really wants to put it over to Songer. To Bigham. 44, Boyd with a tight mark on Bigham. Over to Stanislawski. Back to Bigham.
Wide open, Songer.
Yeah, with the layout.
It just looks like the D-line is just not picking up somebody, but
I think
Kat Songer's cut, blown. You can see a blown switch between Philly and the other Alpenglow player, leaving an open Songer in the end zone.
And Liz Murphy playing it safe, doing the fun layout over Kat. But yeah, I think especially on Bigham, it looked like number 44, Boyd, was backing her, so making sure Corey couldn't be that deep threat that she tends to be. But that means Corey is also still an under threat, so that meant that she's been open on that under many, many times. Like, I've seen her cut through multiple times with just no mark on her.
I just think at this point in the game, you've only scored one break in the second half, and that defensive strategy just isn't working. So I'd like to see Colorado try a couple of different wrinkles in the remaining 8 minutes that they have to try and close down this 16-13 Utah lead.
And yeah, it looks like they have number 5, Hannah Mimak, and Sarah Ito pulled over on Alpenglow. With Larson still picking up and Pesh still in that center, they decide to put it to Boyd yet again on that end zone line. Back to McLaughlin.
McLaughlin guarded by a current high schooler, Lily Terpstra.
And looks like Pesh just kind of was a little bit too far ahead of that throw.
That looked like a miscommunication as well. And now Utah's in flow. That's going to be tough to stop.
Ooh. Caldwell accidentally throws it to the ground, but Robbins was wide open there.
Yeah, Molly Robbins trying to dig that out, but throw was just a little low.
Larson unmarked, but still is able to miss that throw to Ito.
That's, again, just a difficult unforced error. Both lines getting a little loose here in the fourth.
Oh, it looks like there's a call, injury on Pesh.
So I think if you're Utah, again, this might be a solid chance if you get inside the 40 to call another timeout, try and get a break and maybe close the door here with a little under 7 minutes left.
So it looks like Alex Daniels is on for Pesh and Sailor Ong is on for Carrie Schelke. I think Schelke decided to take that injury swap as well.
Smart to get a pair of fresh legs back out on the field.
looks like Alpenglow's just moving around now. I think Hunter's double checking the pre-stall.
It shouldn't be able to move until the pre-stall happens, but looks like no one's really catching it. The disc is in.
Over to Terpstra. Back to Hunter, who ran that whole width of the field, to Robbins. It floats just long enough for her to grab that. That was a great pickup by Alex Daniels. She didn't necessarily have a person on her, but decided to stay in that inside lane to make Robbins' life a little bit harder. We have Caldwell. Looks like Wild is having a little trouble with their stack management, but that's a beautiful inside from Caldwell to Wallen. Back to Caldwell, back to Wallen.
That's a great break by the defensive line there.
I think that started by that beautiful throw to Robbins. It floated just long enough for her to run onto it, and then she was able to take some time to find a good person.
Replay from Caldwell to Wallen, you see that the Utah offense and defense are having an easy time going up line. That is a real weakness of Alpenglow tonight.
I think the Wild is just moving faster. They're reacting a little bit quicker to when they have the disc in hand.
They look ready for this game. They look ready for this moment, and that is just got to be a dagger if you're Colorado.
Yeah, I think in terms of momentum, Wild is really hyped out there. They're excited. They're celebrating, and Alpenglow's kind of stayed level.
It's tough. It's a very talented Alpenglow team. Just a little disjointed here in their first ever WUL game, and that's not a surprise. I think it'll be fun to track their progress over the course of the season as they improve.
All right. Yeah, 17-13 with 6 minutes left.
It's a very strong pull.
All right. Yeah, we have McKee back throwing to Kleinkopf.
McKee on looks like a O-line, potentially a defensive player is playing offense for Colorado right now.
Yeah, it looks like they pulled over Hannah Philly, so they have a different handler set as well as cutting set for the most part. Wallen really hunting for that, but Daniels gets there in time.
Great decision by Wallen. Strong
Back to
throw.
Daniels. Lavoie running just straight past Wallen with the goal. She's a runner. She's a track star. Bristol Lavoie.
From Daniels, you see Daniels shape this throw right over Wallen. The defense forces what they want, but Wallen doesn't drop quite as quickly as you would hope for an easy goal by Bristol Lavoie.
Yeah, she was watching the disc a little bit too much, but that was a great run by Lavoie and a great put by Daniels.
Yep, that's what you like to see from your offense right there. I think there's new players on offense for Colorado, fresh legs, getting it done right there. And I think if you're Utah, I would go away from the zone. I would throw a different wrinkle here, just to make them think a little bit.
All right, we have Bosch with the pull.
Bosch back from her injury sub earlier.
And the disc is out.
Utah will take it to the middle. Kircher will take it to the middle. We got the Kircher-Songer initiation.
We have Aragon up top. The beautiful power position there.
Too easy to get up line once again.
And yeah, we have Bigham getting backed again.
Ooh, surprise, Songer did not take that throw to Kircher going up line.
And we have Williams just...
Once again, I'm going to sound like a broken record, Leah. Just way too easy for these players to get up line.
I think
you see Songer, her person is already trailing. It's too easy for them to get into power. It's too easy to put Cass Williams, defender, on an island.
If you see Cass, she starts pulling like she's going back into the line, and then she checks her shoulder and is able to reverse and gain that momentum and just put her defender on ice. I think that was really just smart offense there, and yeah, they're moving seamlessly.
Yeah. Cass Williams, fun fact, told me one of her hobbies is dumpster diving. Ooh, I got to laugh at Leah for that one.
Well, if you ever need some pals to dumpster dive, give Cass a call.
Yeah, love you, Cass.
We have 4:50 left in the quarter.
18-14 Utah lead. Utah really just
hyped out there,
striding it out.
Yeah, it looks like Pesh is back out there on the O-line. We have Kleinkopf to Larson. Back to Kleinkopf with that zone look from the Wild. I think they really are just trying to force a lot of tiny throws because at this point they haven't been able to get those deep looks.
You can see the downfield receivers aren't fully comfortable with it. Dietrich is not really moving around. And Dietrich and McLaughlin just not really doing anything, taking the danger out of those downfield receivers.
Looks like Wild is kind of folded back into a match look. And at that point, that's when Thorpe is able to get that up line.
Saw Thorpe look deep there. She thought about it.
Oh, and it bounces off of Dietrich's hands.
That is tough. The Wild will take it, though.
We have Caldwell picking up. To Terpstra with no mark. Over to Wallen. Back to Terpstra. Wild still running that vert stack.
That's Norris with a touch to Caldwell.
Who wants it?
She really thought about it. Is Wallen?
Oh, there's a call. Oh,
it looks like an injury.
Limping.
That is a bummer. Caldwell, a mom of three, back after a little bit of a hiatus, has had a really strong game tonight. She is number 21. I think could be a real breakout player for the Wild this year.
Yeah, I think Caldwell's one to watch. She's been able to generate a lot of movement downfield, as well as that connection with Wallen is going to get even more dangerous as the season progresses.
I would say, again, potentially a timeout call to put the offensive line in here with 3:30 left to really just close the door.
A gentle coaching suggestion?
I mean, Tanya, ring, ring.
All right, looks like Wallen is maintaining possession. Oh, and a timeout?
Oh, like a
timeout was now called. Dang. Tanya has the live stream up on her phone.
Apparently. We're not texting her, we swear.
Yes, but so we will see what the Wild puts out, but I'm assuming it's their O-line. When they've been so successful and they're so close to scoring, they might as well take advantage of this and really seal it away.
Yeah, 5 yards out, I think. This is just a really golden opportunity to help the game.
And it looks like Colorado's still talking to most of their O-line out there, or at least most of the players who were previously on the field. Looks like maybe Liz Murphy's swapping on for Jess Larson.
Yeah, I don't think the wholesale has worked for Colorado, so I'm curious to see if they try something a little bit different. And maybe if they get a block, have some advantages for a turnover.
It feels like Colorado has all the pieces to the puzzle. They just haven't been able to make them fit yet. And while they've been making personnel and line adjustments out there, they haven't necessarily found that magic piece to get it all into the picture that we're building with this puzzle if we're continuing this mixed metaphor.
It's a strong metaphor. You know, they've got, should we switch metaphors? That, you know, they've got every ingredient to make the cake. It's just not coming together. And I think this one game format might be tough on them.
Yeah, in club, when you play multiple games on a weekend, you can normally say, like, okay, I have this one game, but then I'll get to make it up for in the next three. But it's really one game and you have one chance to be hot.
The disc is in.
Kircher with an around to Stanislawski.
So it is the offense.
Over to Williams. That was a beautiful put by Stanislawski. That was right over Dietrich's fingers, and Cass Williams is celebrating.
It is hard to pick a player of the game, but Cass Williams has had multiple goals and multiple assists tonight.
Yeah, I think she's really proving how she belongs on this O-line. Her cuts have been so clean, and she's been so decisive in her movements. And that is a break by the Utah Wild. So we're now at 19-14 with 3:22 left on the clock.
An absolutely massive break, and this is a fun quirk of the WUL is your O-line gets break and they get to rest. So it works. So when it works out, it's really straightforward and just a big advantage for the team that gets it out.
When it goes the way you want, it's amazing.
Love it when it goes the way you draw it up.
All right, let's see who's out there for Alpenglow. Looks like Kleinkopf, Dietrich again, McLaughlin, looks
Larson,
like
Larson out there.
Larson, Philly is out there.
Pesh,
maybe that was Pesh.
Pesh and Thorpe. I see Pesh and Thorpe. And Reich.
Looks like the poles are going a little bit farther. That's a fun thing to note.
And now a full match look for Utah. Switching up the look.
Oh, Lily Terpstra close on that for Dietrich.
And this appears again to be that forced middle look we've seen.
Oh, and a big put up to McLaughlin.
A gorgeous put from Thorpe. Just effortless from Thorpe to McLaughlin.
Had the perfect edge for the run that McLaughlin was doing.
Caught it, and as the mark was shifting, stepped right into an easy looking throw.
McLaughlin in stride. Yeah, Norris really didn't have a chance there. That really was a beautiful throw.
It's the pride of Albuquerque, New Mexico, right there with the goal. I hear Jade is a ecologist when she's not busy roasting people deep.
Yeah, I think she spends like 3 months out of the year in maybe it was her. She's
the one.
Yeah, up in Golden, Colorado without any electricity.
Yeah, we were talking to her 3 months every summer at 9,500 feet.
And it looks like McLaughlin's still out there.
I mean, Colorado's still pushing a win, even with 2:45 left and a 4-goal lead for Utah.
Yeah, so if you look, we have Thorpe back on Cogburn, really trying to make sure that deep look isn't necessarily as viable. And then we have Kleinkopf's kind of splitting Williams and Cogburn together, which means Cogburn is wide open on that under. It was a little too high. And then we have Philly with the disc. With a great grab by Thorpe.
Thorpe again, inside shot.
We have back to McLaughlin. Oh, she's so close.
Just a little too far, and they've crossed over Thorpe again. It looks like the Alpenglow are really trying to move quickly and get some possessions on a turn. See this Utah offense with the offset. We have a stoppage.
An injury again.
So this Utah offense we can see here with the offset. I don't have the telestrator, but to your left we got Brooke Stanislawski around the 20-yard hash. We got number 2 Brooke, and we've got Paige Kircher back behind Kat Songer with the disc. And that offset is really causing a lot of stress for the defensive positioning, because if they leave someone unmarked, they're just going to throw easy upline shot, and if they take away those upline shots, they're going to throw breaks. And it's just been working so well tonight.
And it looks like Cogburn subbed off and Stoller is on. Oh, that was some upline D by McLaughlin. They really want this break. Kleinkopf picks up.
Now at this point, I think if you're the Wild, you just make it take a long time. You just
timeout called though. I'm assuming that was by Alpenglow. So you have to call it while you have it in possession. There's 1:41 on the clock.
I don't like this call by Alpenglow. I think it's just going to let Utah put a strong defensive line in, and if you're Utah, you're just trying to kill time.
Yeah, it looks like Wild is looking to put their D-line on there.
With being up 19-15 with 1:40, you just want to make them take 40 seconds to score and run this clock out, really, with this lead.
Yeah, it looks like they're still playing. Alpenglow looks like they're keeping the majority of the same players out on that line. I haven't seen any adjustments get pulled up.
Philly and Boyd and Thorpe, Philly, Boyd, Thorpe, McLaughlin out there.
Yeah, and we still have Pesh out there. Yeah, looks like they're putting their same O-line out there while Wild is getting their D-line ready.
A little surprised they don't put Dietrich right here, out right now.
Yeah, I think they've been pretty confident in those main players that they have out right now. Like I said, they've been making a lot of adjustments, but what I'll say is Jade McLaughlin has been consistent. So keeping her on makes a lot of sense.
Consistent
looks
Utah
like
going with its regular D-line, very comfortable, very confident in that line.
Yeah, we have Miller on Mark. And Terpstra back on McLaughlin. No, wait. Terpstra back on Kleinkopf.
It's like
McLaughlin's in the stack, in the back
Hunter
of the
on
stack.
Thorpe. Utah slotting down a little bit defensively to make it difficult.
A great around to Daniels with that inside. Oh, it looks like there might have been a call. It looks like Wallen made a call. Unsure what the call was. Might have been a foul or just.
I can't tell on this replay. Perhaps a travel. It's tough to see here. And the hand signals aren't helping.
The hand signals are mostly them talking and reenacting.
See if we get another look, another angle of this.
Looks like the observers are involved. It looks.
Foul called. Contested foul sent to the observer.
No foul. That was a goal.
Now it is a goal. Well, hard to tell. We don't have mic'd up observers tonight, so it's a little tough to tell sometimes if they don't give us the signals quickly. But that's a break.
That's a huge break by Colorado. I mean, let's see. There's 1:30 left on the clock still, so I mean, there's a chance they'd have to move really quickly and generate those quick turns. We'll see if they also decide to utilize the short pull system to try and generate that fast turn.
Yeah, I think if you're Utah, you're gonna try and run a couple of back dumps, burn 10 seconds, and then go into your offense.
Yeah, looks like, I mean, yeah, same line is out there. There's Kircher, there's Songer.
I would not change anything about this line.
I wouldn't make any adjustments. We have Songer catching the pole. Over to Kircher, gaining a lot of yards there. Stanislawski unmarked with the scooper.
Page with an excellent scooper to find space.
Over to Aragon. All right, we have Williams back up to Aragon with the nice snag. There's 1 minute left on the clock. Over to Kircher. Aragon just going up line undefended.
Blown switch.
Yeah, just dumping it. Songer to Kircher, but oh, it looks like it flew a little wrong.
Tough throwaway there, but 40 seconds left with a 3-goal lead. At this point, you just make it hard for them to do a lot.
Kircher hanging out deep while McLaughlin's unmarked.
Yep. Love that for Kircher. This is what
a 2v2 with Lavoie versus Stanislawski, but it looks like it's a bit overthrown.
That's great end of game scenario recognition by Kircher, just realizing all they have to do is keep them from scoring quickly.
Looks like there is a call on the field. Yet again, I can't necessarily see the signals. Clock has stopped, but that was at 14 seconds. We might need to add time back on. Yeah, we're back at 22 on the clock.
I think there was an injury called. It looks like there's a sub coming in.
Looks like that's
Daniels.
Alex Daniels, yeah.
Daniels coming in.
All right, tap the ground.
And it should be Utah disc.
I think I've played a game where I've seen so many injuries get called.
Yeah, I think still that a little bit of early season conditioning perhaps. I mean, it's very early to be playing competitive ultimate for a lot of these players, and it takes a little bit of adjustment.
A beautiful inside to Stanislawski, back to Aragon. There's 15 seconds left.
Now I think they're just killing time.
That was a tight throw. McLaughlin almost had that.
Very confident catches by Aragon and Kircher right now in this.
I think, yeah.
They're not trying to score. They're just trying to kill clock.
And the Wild still wants to maintain possession and eventually score because point difference does eventually matter. Stoller got really close. Ooh, looks like Daniels is holding her head, but that's game.
That's it. That's a 19-16 Utah win, and Utah is 1-0 this season.
And we will get to see this matchup happen again on April 8th, this time in Denver. So I'm interested to see, keep an eye out for any of those changes. But the Wild, that was a huge win for them. I think it really came down to a cleaner offense, and I think their D-line was able to generate more turns.
The Wild looked more comfortable in the whole game tonight, which I think makes sense. And it looks like they approached this offseason in a really focused manner, and you can see the familiarity and you can see the thoughtfulness coming out right now with the outcome of this game. I believe this matches their win total from last year. Is that correct?
Oh, unfortunately. Yeah, so now they are at what they were at last year with 1 win. And I also think with the Alpenglow, don't count them out. I think they had some good bright spots. But they just have some finessing to do and kind of getting more comfortable in this setting. Yeah, with Pro, you really only have 1 game to prove yourself. In these margins, really, the win-loss does matter. So if Colorado really wants to keep winning the rest of their games. It's so exciting to see the Wild win at home, and I know they're really excited to kind of build on this momentum. But yeah, their next matchup will be Colorado. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how these teams kind of match each other and adjust to the things that they commonly saw, where it's like Colorado was destroying the Utah on those inside throws, while Utah was just absolutely destroying the Alpenglow on the uplines.
Yeah, it'll be since the new schedule, the 2023 schedule for the WUL has teams rematching later in the season. It'll be interesting to see how each team adjusts its offensive and defensive game plans in the second meeting, which will be on the road, which will benefit Colorado as well. They'll be a more comfortable organization by the time we get there.
And this will be the Alpenglow's first home game. I know that they're excited to have their community show up and kind of show what Colorado can do.
Yeah, and I think their ceiling is really high, and I think they're just going to keep getting better. For the Wild tonight, I was really impressed offensively with Stanislavski and Williams. Brooke Stanislavski, number 2, coming back from the birth of her daughter, and Williams taking a huge leap over last year. And then defensively, who are you excited by?
Oh, defensively, I mean, I'll say Kaylee Caldwell. That's obviously an easy one to say, but she's someone who's such a smart player and is able to kind of recognize
a W and Mac's birthday, and potentially we might be celebrating a little later at Bewilder. So if you are in the Salt Lake area, you should have come out, but you could also come to our Bewilder Brewing after party. It's a 21+ venue, but still very fun.
I think also back to defensively, it looks like the Wild's going goblin mode. But I think defensively, I'm really excited to see Maddie Hunter. She's really good at that match defense. That's number 25. She's going to be back there handling with Caldwell, and she has incredible breakthrows.
I also want to say they pulled this win off without Kira Harushnikova, and I think adding her back in later in the season is going to be huge for the Wild. This was a team that looked explosive and had a lot of options without a star player. And that, to me, speaks that the ceiling of this team is much higher than what we saw tonight.
Yeah, I think they really only have up to go, I think, for both teams. I also think, talking about Colorado, I'm excited to see Pesh do more, and I think Larson is a stalwart handler on that O-line. But maybe trying to get more, just kind of bringing more varied looks. They seem to couldn't generate a lot of downfield cuts, and so trying to figure out how they can put Larson and Dietrich and Larson and McLaughlin together to really have an incredible, efficient offense.
Yeah, and I think what's next for Colorado is a pair of away games, April 1st and April 2nd. They're going to be playing at Seattle and at Oregon on a road trip. Be interesting to see how they respond. That is going to be a difficult road trip for them, and they're at a real risk of ending up in a 0-3 start to their season. The Wild will be off until it looks like April 8th, at which point they will be playing at Colorado. So that's an exciting rematch that you should watch.
Yeah, and then as of right now, we still have San Francisco and San Diego playing. I'm trying to check the score, but I also have to do that by scrolling through Instagram. But yeah, if you really want to go tune into that game, please do.
The Western Ultimate League's YouTube channel.
But the Wild has done a really good job swinging the disc back and forth.
Oh,
and
yes.
Bigham!
A really strong grab by Bigham on a throw that was just behind her by Songer, by number 48 Songer.
Yeah, so we have Songer grabbing the disc. Bigham with just no defender in the area and changes her momentum so she can fully go.
Yep, and thank you to Disc Graph for being a presenting sponsor of this live stream and a sponsor of the Western Ultimate League. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and we'll see you in a few weeks when the Wild visit Colorado.